Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Quack and Smite League Update Podcast. My name is Bonzaijoe, here along with TheKingCooter and Skeet. We got some of our normal guys back here for another week in the QSL. How are you guys doing this week?
Fantastic, Joe. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad myself. It is 2:04 a.m. where I'm at. Well, as we record this
Fuck, dude.
podcast, but hey, nothing like a late night podcast to give the league some content tomorrow morning. Because I tell you what, after tomorrow morning, we have a pretty good looking weekend ahead of us, don't you think, boys?
Hell yeah. I'm excited. I'm ready for this weekend. I think there's gonna be some good games up and
Yes,
coming.
sir.
We'll bring that to you up on the let you know what you're gonna be looking forward to this weekend. So get it underway.
Absolutely, yet another week of non divisional play here as we move forward in the season. This upcoming week will be week 2 of the non conference play. But we still have that first week to talk about, guys. Last week on the podcast, Cooter and I were able to review game 1 of week 4, which was all in versus Fedoms, but we have the rest of the week still to talk about. First up in our slate of games, Resistance versus Kepwi Suns. Wow, this set. If you guys did not watch this set, I pity you. Pause this podcast right now, go back, watch that set, and come back here. Mr. King Cooter, you did one of your first ever casts in the QSL on that game, and it turned out to be one of the best sets of this year, if not the best set that I've gotten the privilege to watch so far. What's your takeaway from that 2-1 set?
Man, that was a set, bro. It was my first experience in the QSL casting, so it on the camera anyway. So that was an experience. But what a set! What a set! I think that in the second game, the Resistance really showed that they have what it takes to win, a game here, maybe even a set here. But I can't go any further without talking about that play in the first game by Kepui Suns. That the horizontal from the left Phoenix to the right Phoenix, they get the right Phoenix, and then they Jan assault from the right Phoenix back to the left Phoenix, and then they get the left Phoenix. Like, oh my god, that's a play, man. That's a play.
Yeah, definitely something that I did not expect to see at any point this season. It was just unbelievable the play that we saw in game 1 there. And then, in game 2, we saw consistent team fights back and forth, just some great fights. No matter what happened, it seemed like it could have gone anyone's way. Game 2, there was a huge early game lead from It's the Resistance. They were able to use that to their advantage and kind of get that early team fight advantage in the first few, but then it was looking a little rough, Cooter. It almost looked like they were going to blow it. I mean, what were your thoughts going toward those like kind of mid to late game team fights?
Those mid and late game team fights really showed how much more cohesive that Kepui Suns is than it's the Resistance, to be honest. Um, Completely frank here, it's the Resistance should have lost that game. Their Titan was under 500 health. All they needed was one person to go in and hit one auto, maybe two, and they couldn't get there. They couldn't get there. They almost had the Winions. But this Kepway Suns team fight is just it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. In that second game, we saw Goat Boy playing his patented, go ahead and kill me. I'm confident that my team can win 4-on-5 in these team fights, and they really did it a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead, Skeet.
I mean, I tend to agree with you. I thought it was one hell of a set. It went a lot better than I expected it to be honest. I kind of expected a one-sided thing and I was surprised. They you really saw people take charge from Resistance out of that team. Really fought well. Mark X Wings played lights out along with Mr. Daddy out of the jungle, especially in that game 2 victory for him. But in the end, I feel like just the sheer team comp from and synergy from that Capri Suns team, I feel like that really gave him the edge right there, gave him the win.
Yeah.
It honestly, you can't even look past what Austin did in that second game, or even what Achilles did, in my opinion, and in Subkiller's opinion when we were going through it. Achilles really won that game for them. He stopped them from doing Fire Giant 3, 4, maybe 5 times. It slowed them down at least so that they couldn't do it. It was a great set. Especially that game was just phenomenal.
Yeah, game 2 was so back and forth. At one point, it was what, under 200 health left on It's the Resistance is Titan, and they
It was
came
about
back.
500, yeah.
Yeah, and they came back to win it. Unfreaking believable, unbelievable in all aspects of the word. That game 2. As I said, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. That just was so incredible. And then game 3 also looked close. Staying with this kind of theme of early game going toward It's the Resistance, or at least being even, and then kind of Kepri taking it more into that late game. We saw them be able to carry out that lead in game 2, but not so much in games 1 and 3. What do you think about how this set finished out?
For me, that third game was really it was what I thought the entire set was going to be, honestly. The Kepwi Suns got an early pick in the third game, and that allowed Goatboy to rotate into the second spawn of It's the Resistance's back camps on the solo side, and that was all she wrote. It was about over at that point. Mr. Daddy couldn't get in the game. Ended up taking blue a couple of times, took Hercules out of the game, and then they just let Telly do his thing over in duo lane.
Yeah, shutting down that Collie early game, I felt really gave him, the edge, because the big thing with Collie is if you let her get to late, that's where she can roll you. But as you said, just shutting down that early game, not allowing her to really get to that point, really, I feel gave him that strong win.
Absolutely. So, yeah, those big early game shutdowns is what really carried Kepri through that game 3, and it showed. They came out game 3, said this is our set, and they took it. But just 3 fantastic games though, all around. Just such a good set. But moving along, being played at the exact same time is Booney Gang versus Goon Squad. Booney versus Goonie. Now this set was definitely a lot different from what we saw in ITR versus Kepri Suns. What do you guys think of how this set went?
Skeet, you want to start this one?
I don't really know where to start on this one. I feel like what was my prediction? Wasn't it 2-0 in favor of Booney? I believe it was.
Yeah.
I think it really went down to my predictions. I just feel like there needs to be some reworkings in that Goon Squad team. I feel like Booney just kind of just rolled with that game. Basically all throughout. I didn't really see a lot of promise coming out of that Goon Squad team, and I just feel like they took early leads and just kind of rolled with them all throughout.
Yeah, there was after the early leads were achieved in lane from Booney Gang. They took it and ran with it. Just so much XP suppression, so much pressure in every single lane. It was really hard to see where if anywhere Goon Squad would be able to get a place to come back in, and it would have taken a lot of mistakes from Booney Gang to give up, even a team fight, let alone an entire game in that set with how much pressure they had throughout, and just how much, and just how much they were taking away from Goon Squad. So a very, very lopsided set, Booney Gang versus Goon Squad, but that was a quick 2-0 easy and done for Booney Gang.
No doubt.
Yeah, that one was a little tough on Goon Squad. They need to recollect, but also they didn't have all their players. They didn't have their normal squad. They had a bunch of subs in, a couple emergency FAs, etc., etc. but even still, that's not a great excuse for just how bad it looked, because at the end of the day, those FAs, you still want to be able to grab who you can to supplement a game to be better. But I don't know. It just nothing looked good. Back to the drawing board for Goon Squad. Hopefully next week they'll get their full team together, and they got a set against Dharmic in week 5. So we'll see them try to put together a full squad in week 5. Moving along, Gloria et Mortem versus Dharmic Killers. A fantastic start to this one as Dharmic takes it 2-1. Gloria took game 1, but the big headline from this is seeing a certain name in a certain position. Skeet, you want to elaborate on that?
A certain name in a certain position?
Yeah. Mr. Davies sitting in that jungle.
Yeah. What is there to say about that? I mean, honestly, I don't have a problem with it. People are going to play who they want to play. Players were, I'm just going to address this now. People were asked, if that's allowed. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be. I mean, it's kind of, there's no rules against playing any role. It's just, it was a gentleman's agreement. And if you feel that that's what you need to do, that's what you're going to do. There's nothing more to it in any other aspect. But I mean, his ability to just sheerly carry a game through the jungle. I mean, what was it? I think it was game 3. He literally had 100% kill participation up to like 20 minutes. Like, there was nothing being done with that. He was just everywhere. He was a menace on the map, just tearing up everywhere. And I feel like that's going to make their team a lot stronger than it was.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. A gentleman's agreement is exactly what it was. All of these really good top tier players, are still playing in a league that has a lot of golds and it has a lot of plats in it, lot of guys who are still trying to learn. And one of the big things going into this season is you had Enemy God, Davies, Coda Bear, players like that who have the ability to carry games all from their main role, no matter what happens. And it was a gentleman's agreement that they'd off roll. And when teams are getting strong, teams are looking to really make a statement, get some wins, you're gonna mix things up and really attempt to do all you can to win games. And that's exactly what we see putting Davies in the jungle. So no problem with it, doesn't break any rules, obviously. So just something that you have to look out for with the Dharmic Killers going forward. And I mean, at the same time, honestly, we had to have seen it coming at some point, right? He played Ratatusker in mid last week. Like, come on, we saw this coming.
I think he played Kamazots as well.
Yeah, he was going back to the assassins in mid. He wanted to. He's been itching to play those assassins. I can't blame him. Take a man out of his role. He wants to go back. I understand. So yeah,
you can take a man out of the jungle. You can't take the jungle out of the man. Not happening.
Yeah. So Davies back in jungle is the main headline from this Gloria versus Dharmic set. But hey, I think that headline has to come with a sub headline. Gloria took a game. With Davies there. Do either of you guys want to walk us through that first game from Gloria?
Man, that was so closely played that Cruz died one time, Davies died one time, and Gloria won. They literally didn't die until that final team fight, and that final team fight is what took Gloria into the Titan room and just took the Titan. It was incredibly played. In terms of kills, there was a point in time where Dharma Killers were up a lot in the kill department, but Gloria was just farming better. They were pretty even in golden experience throughout the game, and all it took was that one team fight, and then that one team fight, they wiped them, and that was the game. Incredible to watch. Another really, really good set.
Yeah, you could not have said that better, because I mean, my takeaway from watching that game was just, they were getting killed, they were getting picked here and there, but as you know, somebody's over there getting a pick on the right side of the map, getting picked. They're taking all the farm on the left side of the map, taking it away from them. Just consistently out farming, outplaying, and I mean, you even saw Davies going camp to camp, stealing camps here and there from the side of Gem there, but still, it just wasn't enough to really take away that farm. As they were constantly up there in gold. There was no point. I mean, there was a point in the game where they were down 4 kills, up 1,500 gold, and the only reason it evened out was because Darmic actually took the Gold Fury, and then that's how they evened back out in gold. So, I mean, they had a couple leads that game, literally playing from behind, and it showed the promise from farming, and it shows you that even though you're down in kills, I mean, all it takes is one mistake by the enemy team, one bad team fight on their part, and you can pull that game out. So, I mean, it gives you a lot of reason not to ever give up in those matches.
Absolutely. It just goes to show that that there is a lot of really good teams. We talked a lot about All In. We talked a lot about Phenoms over the course of this entire season, but I mean, there's no denying just how good of a team Dharma Killers is, especially putting Davies back in his natural role of jungle. So these Dharma Killers, who, mind you, have an 8-4 game record, have taken every single set they've played to 3 games. That does not speak to just how well they've been playing. I just think, I think Raptor said it the best to me last night. He was saying, yeah, we're the game of team threes. We just need to calm down game 1, and that warm-up is all we need. Because, and he's right, because the only set that they lost game 2 instead of game 1 was week 1. Every single set thereafter, they just needed that game of warm up to get them into it. So, it'll be really exciting to see how they play going forward next week, and see if they could break that curse against the Goon Squad. Games 2 and 3, we saw a lot more of a natural progression of. As Skeet said, great kill participation from Davies in the jungle, just absolute power farming, and there wasn't as much coming out from Gloria to even it out in terms of golden kills in that game. But so Darmic ended up taking games 2 and 3 a little bit more handedly, but at the end of the day, Gloria still looked pretty good.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that one.
Yeah, pleasantly surprised. I mean, I kind of called them out the last 2 weeks on the podcast that I don't know how they're going to play when they play a really good team fighting team with two people who tend to play the more divey style in Omega and Atticus. So I'm pleasantly surprised. I like the fact that this team is they've stepped up to the plate, and I think a big reason why they're in the position that they're in and able to be in these sets has to come down to Ryan Cyber, and Pitt. The 3 of those guys together, I mean, they're doing great. And Rye not being in the jungle and being an ADC instead is really, really looking good for them.
Absolutely. Gloria, while I think we kind of talked down on them earlier on in the season, I think have been one of the stronger teams in the league, and are just looking pretty just together as a team. And I'm excited to see how they continue to move forward in these non-conference games. They still have 3 more games to play and prove themselves against that primal division, and we'll just see how they continue to move forward as a team.
How did you guys like the Nox support in game 2?
Interesting pick. If because that was played by GEM, right?
Yes, correct.
Yep. If anyone, leave it to Atticus. That
Man's got the funky builds and the funky style, but hey, he'll fucking kick your ass.
I can't wait for Atticus to pick the Hachiman support. Atticus, if you're listening to this, I know you want to build that Neil Ma Hachiman support build.
Oh, dear God.
Stop.
He knows he wants to do it. Neil has his build. All right.
I'm just waiting for slow Nunos. I'm waiting for slow Nunos.
Slow Nunos, dude. Put people in the slow zone With putting that one on blue mode. Yeah. I
Frostbound.
I've been playing a lot of Assault recently, especially on stream. All you got to do, make people slow. Welcome to the slow zone.
It's infuriating.
Oh, it's
Being
awful.
slowed is so infuriating.
That's why we've seen that's the insurgence of like Vomita Jungle. Just build
Hmm.
Frostbound early and then just absolutely stomp on people. Like
Yes,
gank a
sir.
lane, turn into Big Baby, and just do a little stomping, and they can't go anywhere. Anyways,
Hmm.
enough about Atticus.
Anyways.
Enough about Atticus's weird ass builds. Going forward, that is it for our week 4 in review. But guess what? We're not done with the reviews. Last night we had a great set: Booty Gang versus It's the Resistance. Two close games. I was on the call for this one. It was just so much fun out of both sides. But Booty Gang took it 2-0. We talked a lot about Davies visiting that good old jungle. Now this time I get to talk about Enemy God visiting that good old solo lane. What did you guys think of Enemy God appearing in that solo lane?
I mean, cold honest truth, I feel like he should have ran it a little harder. I mean, game 2 he showed a lot more promise, but I feel like game 1 I didn't really until later in the game. Because I mean, personally playing against him, it's usually just kind of run it down your throat, like you're not leaving your tower unless I say you can leave your tower type deal. But I didn't really see that dominance from him, and I'm kind of hoping to see that in these upcoming weeks and really feel that. But I feel like it didn't make all too much of a difference this week. Those games, in my opinion, were a lot closer than I had guessed that they were actually going to be. So that's how I feel on that one. How about you, Nick? What do you feel about it?
I agree. I think that he didn't really force anything in the early in the first game. Um, to be honest, I thought It's the Resistance was gonna win the first game. It's another case of they were up big in the kill department early. But again, the gold was close. The gold was really close. But then it came down to the team fight, and it was very obvious that the Booney Gang team fight was head and shoulders better than It's the Resistance team fight. At one point in time, Mark Wings was up big. I think he was like 8-1 at one
8-1.
point in
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
And then he got shut down, and that
Oh.
gold just absolutely pulled them back. I mean,
Uh-huh.
It's the Resistance was up 13-3 in kills at one point, but
Mhm.
they were only up maybe 2K in gold, and then Mark died, and that gave them 1,000 gold back. Like,
Whew.
yeah. And then they were down 9 kills and only 1K gold. Ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
And then
And they were Go ahead.
yeah, and then immediately from that, they came back, won a few team fights, and look at that. Then they were up gold while still down 6-7 kills.
Exactly. I was just gonna highlight the fact that the early objectives, It's the Resistance one too. It didn't really make its turn until about the 20-minute mark, and then the game took a big turn, and that's when Booney Gang took over, and that's when we really saw Enemy God uh, really shine in game 1.
Yeah, we talked a lot about it on the cast last night, but we wish that we would have seen the Resistance play with that lead a little bit more. We thought that there was a lot more that they could have gotten out of it. But the one thing that Boonigang did so well was just simply farm. I mean, you guys talked about how Enemy God, didn't kind of put all that pressure on Achilles JC and run at him, but I tell you what, I think Enemy God spent more time in the enemy jungle than he did in lane. He was just absolutely power farming those back camps and taking as much farm away from Mark Wings as possible. It was just incredible to watch.
No doubt. No doubt. That second game, I think really losing the first game for Resistance was really soul crushing. I think, and I think in the second game you saw what the result was.
Yeah, the second game definitely a lot more lopsided. ITR didn't get that early game lead and weren't able to play with it, and then it just kind of snowballed out from there. With Booney taking that second one, I mean, you saw Enemy have a little bit more of that run it down mentality, going 6-0 on that Guan Yu by the end of that game. But as Skeet said, just not what we expected from Innie, because we know that he's capable of more than that. Not to bash Achilles JC. He played a fantastic game, played safe, and was on pace, if not sometimes above level, especially in game one. In comparison to Innie, he played a great game and was really able to keep on pace in that solo lane. Just name recognition alone, obviously you're gonna guess that enemy wins that lane 99 times out of 100, but Achilles looked really strong, and honestly, like, just a fantastic performance from him to even just like keep it even. So, that being said, that wraps up our reviews. We kept it at 26 minutes, boys. We're we're doing all right. We have a few things to talk about that are not going into the previews for next week. We have two or three small topics. So first things first. I've been doing a lot of work this week. I've been doing a lot to the league, and last weekend I put into effect. I, as well as the other mods, I don't want to discredit them, put into effect a full, complete rework, rehashing, retooling of the QSL mini league. We have not seen it get talked about that much on the podcast, but listen, it'll be coming soon. We got full rosters for the mini league. We introduced the ability for major league subs to play in the mini league, just to fill out those rosters, get some warm bodies playing for them, and get them on the battleground. Because so far there's only been one game played so far in the mini league. So we completely revamped the schedule. We revamped the rosters. We added captains to the teams to work with the coaches, and we are going to get this mini league playing. We have done so much work toward getting it to where it is now, and this is a now fully functioning mini league that will be playing games within the next week. Next week should be that first full official week one, where they are going to start playing a game every week. As I said, a game has already been played. Panic Room versus Olive Garden was already played a couple weeks ago, and we are going to keep the result from that one. But we still have Team Edom Army versus Team Enemy God playing next week to start off this complete rehash of the league. What do you guys think of this mini league going forward? You ready to have some fun with it?
Absolutely, man. I mean, for me, we touched on it earlier. There are some fantastic high masters GM players in this league, and some of these other guys that are just getting into the competitive scene. I don't want to say like they're inferior by any means at all, but having those players in the same league as these other players isn't really fair for their development, right? So having the mini league and having a coach assigned to each one of the mini league teams is so good for the league, because now you're having growth out of those players that aren't necessarily up to those high masters players and things of that nature. It's super exciting for the league. I'm super excited to be a part of it, and I love it. I love it. It's so
Yeah.
good. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, a lot of new development coming soon. I am so ready to see these new players to Smite develop and really grow. I know that's one of the big things that we talked about as season one ended, was just the growth that we saw within those players. And not that I don't think we're going to see that out of the major league as well, but I think we're going to see so much more of it out of this mini league. See that development week by week, as these guys are going to get their games casted. They're going to get these full VODs that they can review, see what they did wrong, and they're going to really pick apart and play better. And I cannot wait to see. I think week one of this mini league and week 6 of this mini league are going to be two different worlds of talent, and I can't wait to see what they will provide for us.
super exciting too if we end up going with the top 2 mini league teams making it to the regular
Yeah,
league playoffs,
that's
major
confirmed.
league
That's
playoffs.
happening. Yeah, the top two mini league
Man,
teams will play the lowest seeded major league teams.
I feel like that alone is going to be so good for those mini league players, right? Because those lower 2 major league teams, you might actually have a pretty good game going into that. So, those players are going to get a bit of a confidence boost, saying, you know what, I'm so much better than I was at the beginning of the season. So maybe I do stick with competitive Smite, even though it is a completely different animal than playing casuals, than playing ranked. Maybe I stick with this competitive thing because I'm really having a good time.
Absolutely, I cannot wait. Mini league, since becoming a mod in the league, mini league was my like 100% main focus as soon as I was made a mod because I knew that it needed rehashing, and I'm so glad that we got it done. I'm so glad that we have so many excited players and fans of it going into the first week next week, and I'm just glad that have we have it available for us. We can start talking about it on the podcast starting next week. And we'll
Yes.
start doing reviews and previews for those games for sure. So, going forward with that, back to the major league, we have two quick things to talk about. We just wanted to review some changes to It's the Resistance. After last night's loss against Booney Gang, It's the Resistance have made some changes within the team organization. There was a change in captaincy to your podcast host here, King Cooter. Uh, a little bit of insight behind that decision, as seen in the announcements boards of our Discord. We just wanted to bring someone new in. There was a little bit of team synergy issues between a couple players on the team, and we wanted to find a middle ground, and we thought that bringing Cooter in as the captain there would kind of balance it out by giving precedent to someone who has had a lot of experience. Cooter, being one of our season one captains, has experience with us, with the league. So bringing him back here to find that kind of middle ground for this team and try to rebuild it up to where we want it to be is going to be exciting. So we just wanted to really quickly note those changes. And also in terms of roster changes for It's the Resistance, they have dropped Mr. Daddy and Mark Wings, and the two of them will be unavailable to be picked up for the rest of season 2. So just quick notes on those. So back to fun things to talk about. We have the All-Star break coming up, not this week, but next week. Week 6 will be the All-Star break. We could talk a lot more about how the voting goes after the voting is completed, but I dropped a bomb on the league today. I allowed everyone to start voting for these All-Stars. We have a fantastic lineup of players already rolling in. I can already see some of these votes coming in. What are you guys looking forward to in this All-Star break coming up?
A week off. Because I know I ain't no all-star, baby. No, honestly, I'm looking forward to see how all the top talent, plays with each other. Hopefully, we can see a higher skill game. I feel like it's definitely going to be, more laid back style because there's really, it's not worth anything or anything other than bragging rights, I guess. But I really feel like it's going to be a fun week. I feel like there's going to be a lot of fun things involved with it. And really a chance to see the top players playing, in a higher level game. Good for everybody to watch, I feel, in this league, since it is, of course, that developmental league. Kind of seeing what this game will look like.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see what this brings for us. We have, what we're gonna do is the main event will be that 3 game set between the two all-star teams, but we may have even more events coming up. We have not confirmed any of this, but maybe for some of the guys that weren't voted in the top 10, maybe the next 6 get picked for like a joust game or something fun like that. Or maybe we'll have some duels between some of the top voted all-star players. We got a lot of ideas. to be bounced around, but the only one confirmed is a 3-game set between those two all-star teams, and I am so excited to watch it. I think it's going to be fantastic.
I think it's going to be really fun too, because out of those 10 players they're going to be playing, a lot of them might be coming out of the same role, right? So
Yeah.
you're gonna see a couple of these people just you're gonna see them in an off role, and I think it's also going to be interesting because I would assume there's going to be some sort of draft involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we
So
we have not confirmed quite yet what the order of operations will be here. There is a little bit of talks in mod chat. We are either going to do a quick little gym class style draft, where the captains will very quickly select their teams, or we might do divisional versus divisional, having one team coming out of each division to see which division gets the better bragging rights there. So it's still undecided yet, but both I think will be very very fun ways to do it.
yes, sir.
So, yeah, if you guys are listening to this podcast and have not voted yet, I'm going to be spamming that voting link in the announcements chat all weekend. I'm going to do it at least once, probably just once a day when I wake up. I'm going to spam that that ballot in the announcements page. So if you have not seen it, I'm going to put it in there again in each morning of this weekend. Votes will close Monday evening, and then we will find out from there who our all-stars will be, and we'll talk about it more on the podcast next week. But you know what, guys? We got some more to talk about on the podcast this week. We still have 3 games to preview for week 5. We have completed going through all of our other notes, and we got 3 games coming up this weekend. Two on the weekend itself. One Saturday, one Sunday, and then the last one was delayed until Tuesday. How's this weekend looking for you guys?
You want to go ahead and start this off?
In terms of the games you're talking about,
Yeah. What do you think these games are gonna pump out to be?
I love the games that we have going on. Specifically, I'm taking a look at this Kepwe versus Phenom set. In my opinion, I think that Kepwe is a very underappreciated team. I think it's a super high level team with a lot of synergy together against Phenoms, which arguably one of the, if not the best team in the league. I'm interested to see how both teams team fight, because we're always talking about team fights and how that really ends up being the deciding factor in these games. And those are two teams that one of them has an extreme amount of talent and the other one has an extreme amount of synergy. So I'm excited to see which one ends up coming out on top. The other one that I'm really, really looking forward to is All In versus Gloria at Mortem. Again, Gloria's making me out to be a liar. I think that they look really, really good. And All In, again, one of those top teams that's, if not the best team, that's going to be exciting to watch. And the third one would be that Dharmic versus Goon Squad set. I think that Goon Squad has a lot of question marks. Maybe we won't see Dharmic go to 3 games this time.
Yeah, that Dharmic versus Goon Squad set will be the will be what I'm looking forward to. Will they break the curse, or will they will they drop a game to the Goon Squad? I'm excited to see. That game is going to be at Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Dharmic coming into this game still undefeated, and looking to keep it that way against Goon Squad. You know, this team that hasn't been performing all that well so far this season. But they're looking to get their full roster together, something that I don't think we've seen yet this year at all, even. And they are really looking for something to get going here against Dharmic. What do you think Goon needs to look for here?
For me, I think that Goon Squad really just needs to. I mean, having their full squad together, if they have more we talked about synergy already, but if they have more synergy than they have had so far, I think that's going to be a major contributing factor. Also, having Chevy in a role consistently is probably very important. I think he's played maybe 4 different roles. Maybe it's just 3, but he's played at least 3 different roles this season. So uh, it's tough. It's tough moving around like that. It's tough picking up, free agent subs and picking up, mini league subs and things like that. Just makes for a very rough set. So I really want to look for them to get together, get some games in together, get some competitive games in together, and really I think if I look at the whole roster, I have to play through Chevy, right?
Yeah, I mean, you look at Chevy and you got to think that they have to play through him. That he is looking to kind of be a leader on this team, be someone who makes the team better just by himself, and that's not something that we've seen from him so far this year, and that's something that we're gonna need to have them play off of going forward.
No doubt, no doubt. And I think at this point, I mean, Kitten might be able to win his lane matchup at this point, because Cruz really isn't a mid laner per se. But when you have somebody the caliber of Davies on your team, and Davies says he wants to play jungle, you play where you want. You play whatever's open, man.
Yeah.
So maybe they can take control of that middle. Um, but maybe, hey, who knows? Maybe not. Maybe the jungle presence in mid will be too much for Kitten to deal with.
Yeah. Well, I actually don't think it's Kitten anymore on that
Oh,
because they
Kitten's
traded
was
kittens for Shy Appendix. So, uh,
Oh, you're right. You're
yeah,
right. So that will put Chevy in the middle.
I believe that puts Chevy at mid. Yeah, because it's Aurier and Neptune and duo, Pun and solo, Shy jungle, Chevy mid. So yeah, Chevy versus Cruz in mid. You definitely need to play off Chevy if you're good. If you're good squad.
No doubt. No doubt. And if Shy can get that advantage in middle, get a couple of picks on Cruz, which was difficult for Glory at Mortem to do, maybe they have a chance. Maybe they can play through Chevy and get it done.
Absolutely. So going forward, we have Kepwi Suns versus Fedoms. You touched on it a little bit. This team with a lot of talent versus this team with a lot of synergy happening on Easter Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. This is going to be a fantastic one. Kepwi. First couple weeks we saw them play without the full roster. We're not all together there in terms of scheduling. Couldn't really find a specific time where all of them could get together, and had to play with a sub a couple times. Um, you know, they were behind in terms of team synergy, just weren't all there that we saw in season one. But week 3, we started to see it more and more, them playing as a team with Telly the Basin on the roster. Now they are really pushing forward, getting Good Boy back into his natural role of support. It's something we've seen a lot from this Kepwi team, and I think that they may be looking to really surprise some people this weekend going against Phenoms. They have a lot of togetherness, a lot of confidence going forward, and they want to really look to take something here.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Skeet, you have anything on your team there against Kepwi?
On my team, I don't know. There's been a lot of I'd say friendly smack talk. I keep it decent, but I'm excited to see how it plays out. I'm hoping to have a good match. I don't think any of my games have been to either. Yeah, there hasn't been a 2-1.
Yeah, it's been 2-0 for you every set.
2-0 or 0-2. Thanks to all in on that one. Thank you, Bonzai.
Got you.
Humble up real quick.
Gotta keep your sets short.
I really think that they're gonna challenge us a little bit. We definitely have to. We've been working on our synergy as a team. Some people wanted to point out that we don't like to work on synergy, but I'm just gonna. We'll see how that plays out on the battlefield. But Yeah, I think it's really going to come down to a few big team fights, or just honestly, laning phase could win it. It just really depends on how the game goes. I'm excited for it. Not gonna lie, I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, this should
I think it's
be
gonna be a great.
yeah, this should be a really good set. Probably best set of the week in my opinion. That's the set that I'm looking most forward to this weekend. Because I mean, you said it the best yourself. It'll come down to some late game team fights. We know that Kepwe is a good team fighting team, but we know Phenoms has all that talent on the roster. So we're just going forward through this set, and Phenoms are going to need to find that lead early and I think take it through, because if they go into late game even with Kepwe, I I think Kepwe could steal a game or possibly two. You know, if you know they work through those late game team fights, as Skeet said. So this will be a really interesting set to watch this weekend, and I think that it'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving along, last set of the week, this upcoming Tuesday game at 8 p.m. EST. Wow, 45 minutes. We actually might end this podcast a little early this week, guys. Last game to preview here: All In versus Gloria at Mortem. All In coming off of that big win against Phenoms. Gloria at Mortem coming off of the close loss to Dharmic. Gloria looking to take this kind of motivation, this kind of role that they've been on, really good play for quite a few weeks now. They're looking to keep this streak going against All In this week. What do you guys think is going to be coming out of this Gloria squad on Tuesday?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking over to the duo lane, right? The duo lane of All In has proven to be one of the best duo lanes in the league, if not the best. So I'm
Who,
interested to
me?
see. Of course you, Joe. Of course, All Star Joe, baby.
Dude, that's
Um,
cap. But keep talking.
I'm interested to see that duo lane matchup. Rye has been phenomenal, and Rye into Joe, um, is going to be fun to see, as well as Dope May into Atticus. I'm interested to see how Atticus handles uh, probably the best support in the league. I'm super excited to watch that. Skeet, what
Yeah,
do you got?
I think it's gonna be a good set. I feel like it's gonna come down to a few small differences. Personally, I feel like NMR is a stronger jungler than Cyber. That's just putting it out there. Love you, Cyber, but it's just like again, I feel like it could be another Davies situation like happened to them in last week. They might be able to steal a game, but I feel like in the end, I feel like just having that strong jungler is going to be huge. And you know what? If Cyber steps up and proves me wrong, I'm all for it, man. I love seeing a good game. I love seeing people take that spotlight, stepping up in the big spots, and I feel like this is a big chance for him to prove what he's got, and really maybe carry that gem team to a win. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I
No
think
doubt.
I think this is definitely one to look out for this week. You know, Gem is looking just like a really solid team over the past couple weeks, coming off of a few good wins and then a close loss against Dharmic. I mean, you know, as we've been saying, good play recently. They're coming off of a set that they probably feel like they could have won. They feel like was just too close for them to lose like that. They want to come out with fire this week and prove that they are that good team that we've been seeing over the last couple weeks. And this is the chance to prove it versus what might be hailed as the best team in the league. As it stands so far with recent play from All In. So this is definitely a prove it week for Gloria at Mortem, and
Hmm.
and I think that they're going to come out with some fire and some passion into this game on Tuesday night.
Now, to be fair to Cyber, NMR is probably the best jungler in the league, so it's probably a jungle diff
Well, now that
against
Davies is in
any.
jungle, I don't know. I don't know how about
You're
that, but
right. You're right. It's
but
man.
before Davies went back to jungle, though, I would.
I feel bad for that man though. Cyber's literally going to go back to back weeks facing Davies and then straight following it up with NMR. Actually, wait, is NMR playing this weekend, Joe?
Yeah, that's why we have it scheduled for Tuesday.
Oh, it's Tuesday. Okay,
Yeah.
I was was like, I know he's gone this weekend,
Yeah,
so I didn't know it was Tuesday. Being totally honest, but
yeah.
yeah, I feel bad for that man. He literally goes back-to-back weeks playing easily the two best junglers in the league, and it's tough for him. I feel bad for him, honestly.
Diamonds are formed under pressure, baby. Got to do what you got to do.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, that jungle matchup, Cyber versus NMR, will definitely be one to watch for in this all-in versus gem set. So, yeah, we have some great stuff coming up this week. One thing, so I like to finish off all of our podcasts. One thing that you guys are excited for this week doesn't have to be a lane matchup, doesn't have to be a game, could be just an event going on or anything. It could be any one of those things. One thing that you guys are excited for, Skeet.
My game always. I'm excited to play. I just love playing Smite, man. Don't you know?
Yeah,
I just want to play Smite.
I do a lot of talking about Smite. I haven't played Smite a whole lot the last couple of days, so I feel like I've done a lot more talking about Smite than I've done playing Smite.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
See what I'm saying? Like literally, like all today. Like I was on the phone talking about Smite all day. But man, I'm just so excited to play a game this week against what should be a formidable team, a good solid team to play against, and I'm excited for it.
Absolutely. Nick, go ahead with you. What are you excited about this week?
I'm excited for two things, and we talked about it in the middle of the show. Number one, I'm excited to see who the All-Stars are. I'm excited to formulate opinions. Nice. I'm excited to formulate opinions about what's going to happen in those All-Star games and, who's going to have the better team and talk about who the captains are. I'm really excited about that. Number two, I'm excited to get to work with It's the Resistance. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be refreshing without a doubt.
Absolutely. So since Cooter took mine, I'll elaborate a little bit. I'm excited to see how these All-Star votes pan out. I think that all weekend it's going to be fun to keep my eye on who's leading and who's almost leading that running in terms of All-Star voting. So that is going to be a lot of fun, and we'll see how those teams hash out. But not before we watch some fantastic sets. The one I'm most excited for, as I said with our previews, is going to be Kepler versus Phenoms. I think it's going to be a great set. Two just really good teams, and that I think will do fantastic against each other. So catch that one on Easter Sunday, late at night. So, my boys, thank you guys for joining me on this late Friday night. As we record this, it is almost 3 a.m. here in Eastern time, so I'm going to finish up this recording and then probably head to bed pretty soon. At least I should.
Oh boy, 3 a.m.
You know you're playing Smite.
Yeah, I'm going to hop on for at least one game of Smite before I go to bed. Yeah, so for my main boys, Skeet and TheKingCooter, I'm Bonzaijoe. Thank you guys so much for joining us in yet another week of the QSL Update Podcast, and we'll catch you guys right back here on the YouTube channel again next week. Thank you.